Maid Change Riley, who knows a chain of events has made Prince William ascend to the throne of England, while Princess Anne makes a revelation about King Charles' final wish. William is faced with the risk Anne's ability of ruling, but why did King Charles make this revelation to his sister? And what will be the consequences for William's future as king? Join us to find out. A father's final wish. The big room suddenly became very quiet when Princess Anne walked in holding a sealed letter. There was no music, no announcements, just a calm and peaceful silence that made everyone turn to look at her. The air felt heavy, as if something very important was about to happen. Princess Anne didn't need to say a word. Her serious face in the law in her hand told everyone that this moment mattered. Without waiting, she walked straight to the middle of the room. The royal family quickly gathered around her, their faces showing worry and sadness. This letter was not meant for the public. It wasn't for the news, the cameras, or anyone outside that room. It was a private message meant only for those the closest to King Charles, a final farewell trusted to the one person he believed would handle it with care. Princess Anne, always known for being strong and calm, gently broke the seal. The sound of the paper tearing seemed louder than usual in the silent room. Everyone held their breath, waiting to hear what the letter said. Nobody spoke. They all understood that this was the last message from someone they loved very much, their father, their leader, and their guide. And voice stayed steady as she began to read. She started with simple but powerful words, the ultimate desire of His Majesty. In that instant it felt like the whole world stood still, but the letter wasn't full of sad goodbyes. It wasn't a message of regret. It was filled with warmth and kindness. Even in his final moments, King Charles was thinking about his family and his country. Many people thought the letter might have personal messages for each family member, maybe some gentle words or special memories, but King Charles had something else in mind. He wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking about his family's future. His final wish was simple and clear. He wanted his family to stay strong, stay close, and give their full support to Prince William. In the months while King Charles was battling cancer, Prince William had quietly started taking on more responsibilities. He appeared at big events, made important decisions, and became the face of the family during uncertain times. Even though he wasn't king yet, people began to see him as the leader of the family would need. As Princess Anne read the letter, it became even clearer what this moment meant. The letter was not just a goodbye, it was a quiet instruction. King Charles reminded his family to stand beside William, to lift him up, and to keep the royal family steady. He asked them all to make sure William would never have to face troubles alone. Some of the family members felt their eyes filled with tears. The message touched their hearts. It wasn't about power or wealth, it was about love, duty, and protecting something special. King Charles asked them to keep peace in the family, to be kind to each other, and to be strong when times get tough. When Princess Anne finished reading, the room stayed silent. There was no applause, no big reactions, but everyone in that room felt the same thing. A quiet promise passed between them. Even though the sadness was heavy, there was also a feeling of togetherness, as if they had all silently agreed to honor the king's wish. But why was Princess Anne the one to read the wish? Why not a member of the parliament, or even Camilla? Let's find out. The unshaken strength of Princess Anne. Princess Anne has always been an important part of the royal family. She is known for her hard work, loyalty, and quiet strength. King Charles often trusted her with important matters because she was careful and dependable, while others chased the spotlight and quietly focused on her duties. Her story isn't about fame, but about resilience and steady service. For over 50 years, Princess Anne remained one of the busiest royals. In the 1970s, she became famous for attending more than 500 official events each year. While some criticized the royal family's privileges and earned respect through her dedication, she worked closely with Queen Elizabeth II, helping keep the monarchy connected with the people across the UK and Commonwealth. Her serious work ethic began young at 19 and joined Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip on a royal tour to Australia and New Zealand. This trip marked the start of her official royal life. From then on, she wasn't just the Queen's daughter, he became a full royal, meeting people and attending events with confidence. That same year, she took on charity work, something she would cherish for decades. In 1970, she became president of Save the Children UK, a role she held until 2017 through nearly 5 decades, and worked to help disadvantaged children, showing kindness and care to those in need. These efforts helped present the royal family as compassionate and involved, while her brothers often drew attention for personal stories. Princess Anne stayed quietly devoted to her duties. She avoided scandals and focused on what mattered. After Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022 and quickly pledged loyalty to King Charles, just as she had done for their mother at King Charles's coronation in May 2023, and was named Gold Stick in Waiting, a historic role. As the King's personal protector, she led 6,000 armed forces on horseback show, and her importance in royal tradition and the trust her brother placed in her. In November 2022, Parliament also named and a Councillor of State, a rare honour traditionally for the monarch's spouse, and next for adulterers. Her lifelong service earned her this role. In it, she could sign official papers and attend important meetings for the kid when he was unavailable, as other royals stepped back or faced health struggles, and steady leadership kept the monarchy moving smoothly. By 2024, she was once again the royal family's most active member. She completed 172 official events between January and April, making up 31% of royal appearances, with King Charles focusing on his health and Princess Catherine away from public life and took on more often visiting places that hadn't seen a royal in years. Her efforts reached beyond the UK. In February 2024, she visited Sri Lanka to mark its 75th year of independence. It's while King Charles stayed home for health reasons and met leaders and attended ceremonies, reminding everyone of the bond between the UK and its Commonwealth friends. She also made time to honour history. In May 2024, she visited Guernsey and Sark to mark the 80th anniversary of their liberation during World War II, and connection to the military stayed strong, to holding many honorary titles. She frequently visited soldiers, attended military events, and showed genuine care for veterans, and never forgot those often overlooked. In 1991, she started the Princess Royal Trust for Cares, offering help to PM Paul, who cared for loved ones without pay or public thanks, even when it changed names to Cares Trust in 2012, and stayed closely involved in 1976 and made history as the first British royal to compete in the Olympic Games, showing her skills and equestrian events in Montreal. This isn't just for show, it reflected her real passion. Later, her daughters have followed in her footsteps, continuing the family's connection to the Olympics, and also spoke about the future of the royal family. She supported King Charles as planned for a smaller monarchy, but warned against cutting back too much. She believed there must be enough work king royals to meet public expectations while saving money mattered, and felt it was just as important for royals to stay visible and active. She became a mentor to Prince William, offering advice on handling public life, royal duties, and how actions often speak louder than words. By 2023 and 2024, public polls named her one of the most trusted and respected royals, while others faced scandals and stayed steady, winning admiration for her honest, no-nonsense approach. Prince William's journey to the throne. Prince William was set on a path to one day become king from the moment he was born. He arrived in the world on June 21, 1982 at St Mary's Hospital in London. William was the first child of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. When he was born, he became second in line to the British throne right after his father. Even though he was just a tiny baby, many people already believe this little boy was meant to be king one day. From the very start, William's life was watched by the public. He appeared in official family portraits and attended royal events with his parents. His family gave him sweet, loving nicknames. His mother, Princess Diana, called him Wombat, and his younger brother Prince Harry fondly called him Willie. Even though he was a prince with royal duties, William was just a young boy with a playful heart. As a child, William was full of energy. He loved to be outdoors. He was curious about everything, and sometimes he could be a little mischievous. Princess Diana I wanted to give her sons as normal a life as possible. Even though they were royal, she made sure they saw the real world. She took them to amusement parks, fast food places, homeless shelters, and hospitals. Diana hoped these experiences would teach her songs about kindness, caring for others, and the importance of empathy. As William grew, he changed from a playful little boy into a calm and thoughtful young man. When he started going to boarding school, people noticed he was quiet and serious. He behaved in a very mature way. His mother often turned to him for comfort and called him her little sage. He became someone she trusted and relied on, especially during hard times. In 1991, when William was just 9 years old, he made his very first official public appearance. This took place during a visit to Llandaff Cathedral in Wales on St David's Day. After that, he travelled with his parents and brother on royal visit, including a trip to Canada. From a young age, William was learning about his royal duties and responsibilities, but life was not always easy for William. His parents divorced in 1996. Then, just 1 year later, a terrible tragedy happened. Princess Diana passed away in a car crash in Paris on August 31, 1997. William was only 15 years old at the time. He was staying with Prince Harry and their father, Prince Charles, at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The very next day, Prince Charles had to share the heartbreaking news with his sons. The whole world watched Princess Diana's funeral on September 6. People saw the two young princes walking behind their mother's coffin, with their father, grandfather Prince Philip, and Uncle Charles Spencer. It was a heartbreaking moment. William and Harry tried to stay strong, but everyone could see their sadness. That memory stayed with many people around the world. For William, it was a life-changing moment. He had to grow up fast after losing his mother. After Diana's death, William continued his education at Eton College, one of the most famous schools in England. This was different from what his family usually did. His father and grandfather had gone to Gordon to school in Scotland. At Eton, William studied geography, biology, and art history. He also enjoyed sports like rowing and water polo. While he tried to live like an ordinary teenager, people still kept a close eye on him. When he finished his studies at Eton, William decided to take a gap year. He traveled to different parts of the world and learned many new things. He did military training, worked with charities in Chile, and visited Africa. This time away gave him a better understanding of the world and the problems people face in their daily lives. In 2001, William started university at St Andrews in Scotland. Choosing to study geography, he lived in a dorm with other students and got to experience what it was like to be a regular college student. It was there that he met Catherine Middleton, known as Kate. At first, they were just friends, but soon their friendship turned into love. Years later, they got married, and Kate became the Princess of Wales. After university, William followed the royal tradition of joining the military. In 2006, he started his training at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. He became a second lieutenant in the Blues and Royals, part of the Household Cavalry. Then he trained to be a helicopter pilot for the Royal Air Force's search and rescue team. By 2008, William had earned his pilot's wings. From 2009 to 2013, William was based at Our of Valley and Anglesey, Wales. He worked as a co-pilot on Seeking helicopters and took part in over 150 rescue missions. These operations saved many lives and showed William the struggles ordinary people go through. This experience taught him about responsibility and duty, not just as a prince but as a person. At the same time, William started taking on more royal duties. When he was just 21, he became a Councillor of State, which meant he could perform official duties when the Queen was unavailable. He also began travelling on official royal visit, like his memorable trip to New Zealand in 2005 to honour World War II veterans. William's royal work took him to countries like Australia, New Zealand and Canada, where people warmly welcomed him. His kindness and genuine interest in others made him beloved wherever he went. In difficult times like natural disasters or national emergencies, William showed bravery, sympathy, and a calm spirit. He represented the royal family with grace and brought comfort to those in need. Even while serving in the military, William continued his royal duties. In 2010, he co-piloted a helicopter during a rescue mission near Liverpool. Another dangerous mission happened in the Irish Sea, when he helped save sailors from a sinking cargo ship. Sinking in 2012, he spent 6 weeks in the Falkland Islands, carrying out search and rescue missions. William's active military service ended in 2013, but he remained closely connected to the armed forces. He supported the Battle of Britain memorial flight and often attended military events and memorial services. Unlike Prince Harry, who stepped away from royal duties in 2020, Prince William he chose to stay and fulfill his responsibilities along with Catherine. He took on more work as the Queen grew older. Together, they focused on raising awareness about mental health, protecting children's rights, and caring for the environment. People praised them for their kind hearts and steady leadership. Over the years, William's life has been shaped by patience, responsibility, and kindness. Instead of rushing to become king, he chose to learn, serve, and quietly grow into his role. His life experiences, from personal heartbreak to military rescues and royal duties, have turned him into a caring, thoughtful, and dependable future king. Prince William might be the next king, but there's one always by his side doing the duties like it's a hobby and not a responsibility. How far has Kate been recognized by the monarchy? Stick with us. When Kate stepped into William's life, Prince William has always been busy with royal duties, going to events and carrying big hopes on his shoulders. Ever since he was born, people knew he would one day be king. His life has been full of happy and sad moments, but everything changed in a beautiful way when a lovely young lady named Catherine Middleton, lovingly called Kate, came into his life at a very important time. While William was growing up and learning about himself, Kate appeared. They met as students at the University of St Andrews in Scotland. What started as a simple friendship slowly turned into something deeper. They laughed, supported each other, and enjoyed the little things in life. Their love story quietly grew away from the cameras, though the world watched with interest. After a long courtship filled with happy times and challenges, William asked Kate to marry him. Many people had been waiting for that moment, and it was truly beautiful. Their wedding took place on April 29, 2011 at the Grand Westminster Abbey, and London people from around the world tuned in to see them say their vows. But their wedding wasn't just a royal event, it was the start of a new chapter. William was no longer carrying royal life alone. Kate stepped into her role with grace, ready to take on duties and live in the public eye. Together, they brought a fresh, warm feeling to the royal family. After marriage, Kate embraced her new life with kindness. She stood beside William at events, supported charities, and met people from all walks of life. What made her special was how she made each person feel important. She listened carefully, smiled often, and showed real interest in others. One of the first big choices as a couple was to start a wedding gift fund. Instead of presents, they asked people to donate to causes they cared about, helping children, the elderly, military families, animals, and people facing health struggles. It showed how much they wanted to use their position to help others. As time went on, Kate's charity work grew. She supported causes like mental health, children's welfare, addiction recovery, and the arts. People called it the Kate effect because whatever she supported or wore would catch attention and shine a light on important issues. Kate loved art history, which drew her to creative projects she backed. Grew using art therapy for children, and took roles with art organizations. Or love for photography was also a big part of her royal life. Kate often took official pictures of her children, capturing sweet moments in their growing lives. William and Kate made a wonderful team. In the early years of marriage, they traveled on royal tours, always showing kindness and warm weather, visiting New Zealand or meeting leaders in other countries. They stayed humble and friendly, winning hearts everywhere. Soon after their wedding, they traveled to Canada together for one of their first big trips. Huge crowds came out to see them. People loved Kate's natural charm and William's gentle manner, which reminded many of Princess Diana. As time passed, Kate attended events on her own. Her very first solo event was a fundraiser for In Kind Direct. Later, she gave her first public speech at a children's hospice, showing care for the families and children she met. But their life wasn't just about royal work. They built a loving, happy home for their growing family. Their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, brought joy not just to them, but to people everywhere. Kate was praised for being a caring, hands-on mother, balancing her royal work with raising her children in a simple, thoughtful way. Kate's work grew as she supported causes as in sports, photography, mental health, and children's welfare. She wasn't afraid to talk about tough subjects, either by leading projects like taking action on addiction and mental health programs. She encouraged people to speak openly about struggles. It was about listening to people, understanding their stories, and using her voice to be attention to what matters most. Even when the pandemic struck in 2020,